Okay, so I was asked to teach mindfulness for veterans, and that was very humbling for me. My neighbor went to Vietnam, and I did not go to Vietnam. And so I felt that I should be very careful in approaching this. And I told the people, it's not that I'm a psychotherapist, treating you for trauma. I have done that, but this isn't what, that isn't what this is. What this is, the mindfulness for veterans, is an invitation into the practice of this ancient meditation, mindfulness. And so I'm trying to keep it real, and I actually tried to keep it normal. But the group demanded the reality, and the truth is the depth of this practice is mystical. So this is going to sound mystical because it is. And it's kind of the algebra of why meditation heals and teaches, how meditation brings about awakening. So, there's a material dimension to reality, physical, material. And there's a spiritual dimension to reality, the divine, what we call the divine. And the way the practice works is we awaken our consciousness to both, to the material and the spiritual. And so I try to lay this out like an algebra, so it's kind of logical. Let X be the spiritual dimension, and let Z be the material dimension. And how do we bring our material life into the spiritual, and how do we bring our spiritual life into the material? And the answer is consciousness, through the practice of attention, consciousness, and awareness. That is how the awakening happens. That is the way that we recover. And so I become aware that I have a body, I have a heart, and I have a mind. But I am consciousness. And that means I am a transcendent being. I am a spiritual being. I am conscious that I have a body. I am conscious that I have a heart. I am conscious that I have a mind. But I am greater than these things. I am a spiritual being.
Hi, I'm Pat. And I was thinking as he was going through this particular lesson and this particular diagram that all of the diagrams and all of the lessons are critically important. And what I try to do is I actually try to figure out how does this manifest inside of me. Because the best way for me to learn and the best way for me to actually apply what we're learning is to see how it affects me personally. And that started a while ago when we were going through another lesson. He actually challenged us with, do you know it or did you read about it? And so I actually apply that. And when we were talking about this particular XYZ, I actually went back and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how does this affect me personally and what do I want to gain out of this? And so I knew that I was matter and I was getting in alignment with my body and my heart and my mind, and I was raising my consciousness. But I was really trying to get in touch with spirit because I really didn't, I knew growing up in a religious family, I knew what God was, or at least I thought I did, until we got to this lesson. And this lesson became so important to me because I started to meditate and mindfulness and understanding. And I thought, the best way for me to try this out is to actually ask questions. And so when I was doing that, I started asking questions like, what should I be doing with my life now? What should I be doing to help others, if that's the right thing for me to do? And what started to happen is that I had this connection through the consciousness, through the soul, through the essence of who I was. I started getting little feelings and inklings that I needed to take what I was learning and start sharing that with others, because I was starting to get answers. And I, like many of you, had trauma. I had reasons for what I was doing, but I didn't know why. And so some of the questions I was asking was, why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And the voices, the little inklings, the feelings, much more than voices, the feelings were coming to me. And I tried to put a name to it, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. And what started to come back was, that's your intuition talking to you. That's you talking to the board, to the universe, to the divine, to the beloved. And the beloved is sharing messages with you through your guardian angels that you're calling intuition. So I kept putting this into practice. I kept asking those questions. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? The answers that came back was, help others be the very best that they can be. You have experiences. You are a unique individual. You have value. And you bring something that they can use. And one of the other answers came back was, so are they. They're unique and valuable, and they bring a lot to the table. Listen to them. Listen to what they have to say. So after a while, I put this into practice. I actually do this now with a lot of my clients. We actually spend some time talking about the mind, the body, and the heart, understanding what those feelings are, understanding what those thoughts are, knowing that they can't hurt you and they can't kill you. But understanding where they came from is critically important, and that's where XYZ came in. Is I'll get them into a place where I say, now, you don't have to share this with me, but why don't you ask your higher spirit, your guardian angel, your master, whoever that is, the universe, what is it that you specifically need to learn? What do you specifically need to know? And if you care to share that with me, that'd be great. Some of the stories I've heard, some of the progress that we've been able to make, the breakthroughs have all come from XYZ. Listening to everybody, everybody has a story. Everybody has something to offer. They're all unique and valuable. You just got to ask them. And that's what XYZ does for me. It gets me to a place where I can do that kind of stuff, because it all started with my simple meditation after Brock shared it with us at that lesson. And I said, how do I manifest this? How do I make this real? What am I going to do with this? And the answers came that you got to listen. Listen to people. Help them become the very best they can be. And you, in turn, will become the very best that you can be as well. So I continue this. I continue this on a daily basis. I think it's extremely important. It's one of the most valuable lessons I've learned. But again, it's so important is to manifest it and put it into practice and make it real for you. And when you do, you feel it. It's a feeling that overcomes you. It's a passion that drives you. That's where I use XYZ.